We actually captured one of them. I couldn't believe my eyes as I watched the security footage from the safety of my ship on the outskirts of the system. The meeting was being publicly broadcast, but I still had access to the internal security network. One of the benefits of my job. They actually captured one. It looked very pissed, but didn't look like much. No claws, no tentacles, no extra appendages. Just a thing. Small. How could it cause so much trouble? How is it possible this tiny meat and bone thingy could cause us to lose half the sector? I sat at my seat with curiosity and wondered what in the hell they were doing. They had it wrapped in a few chains, its hand things, tightly wrapped around some object while it squirmed as they dragged it along the ground. They were taking it towards the transinvocation matrix? I wondered why they were doing that, and then I remembered what that room was for. Well, that explains the preparation they had to go through for this operation. I hope we find answers soon. We just lost Aurelius sector. There's apparently a huge fleet now. The humans aren't happy, I said idly. Indeed? Well, that doesn't bode well. What is it carrying in its hand things? It looks like it won't let it go, my aide nearby said. Humans are well known for always carrying SciFi kind of personal trinket with them. Very odd behavior. In any case, it won't matter. Look, the trial is starting. The guards tossed the pissed-off human onto the platform. It grunted and started to yell angrily, its words muffled by the gag in its mouth. My aide scoffed annoyingly and handed me 10 credits as one of the priesthood, predictably one of the children of the ancients, stepped forward and began a ceremony. He waved his staff, proceeded with his incantations, and within moments the stage filled with sparkles, ghost orbs, and electrostatic energy. The human levitated in the air, standing upright, and grumbled angrily. I thought for a moment I saw fear in his eyes. Then suddenly the priest was tossed back by an almighty shockwave, and he disintegrated into a pile of skeletal dust as he hit the wall. Then the human's bonds disintegrated, and a set of invisible chains spread his hands and displayed him before the coming wrath. And my goodness, what wrath it was. The room darkened as a swirling vortex of black mist appeared, and through it stepped a figure. It was human in structure, the human god after all, but it wore the cultural garb of every nation that had ever existed. A long black ragged cloak, 2 bony appendages held aloft a long, evil-looking scythe, looking out at the world through empty, hollow eyes. "Death, the human god, is death?" my aide said. "It would appear so. I have a funny feeling we made the right choice when we opted to view remotely," I replied, as I ordered the ship to move a further 20 clinks away from the station. "Who dares summon the Reaper?" he said, his voice booming loud and proud, sending shivers through everyone who heard it. The human just smiled. He smiled. "Well, hi, Mr. Grimm. Long time no see, buddy," the human said, as casually as one would address their own friends. "Oh, not these guys again," the Reaper said with anger and sorrow in his tone. "Oh, come on, you know you like us," the human replied in a chuckle. The room went into a state of shock and awe as this human casually taunted his own god with a smile. The excitement of finally understanding what drives the humans to their acts of insanity dissipated as the two began their conversation. The Reaper's cloak billowed in an intangible wind as the two spoke as one would with an old friend, rather than a mortal and his god. "So what is it this time?" "Why was I summoned?" the Reaper asked. "Oh, you know the usual. Minding our own damn business, expanding in the universe, when Tweedle Dumbass and Tootle Stupid over there decided to declare war," the human said, gesturing to the Shakandi hive and the Osarian conglomerate. "Really? They were the ones who declared war? Or does this go deeper?" the Reaper asked. "Trust me, bro, this wasn't our fault. They cast the first stone. Now they are realizing that we have a mountain aimed at them, and they are a bit scared," the human said with a hearty laugh. The two carried on with casual banter, arguing over who really started the war. The war. First Contact War, as the humans have called it in their intelligence briefings. Humanity appeared over a Shakandi hive world and initiated first contact proceedings, only for the overtly hostile and isolationist hiver species to start shooting. The Shakandi, of course, said the humans attacked first, but we had the video the humans released of their ship being boarded and everyone on board being killed. Humanity went into a full-time war footing, and within a month after the Shakandi's first fight, the humans had claimed 2 of their nest worlds, bombing them into oblivion. They had also lost 2 fleets. But what was truly insane was that the humans never seemed to end. We all knew of the endless tide of the hivers and insectoid species, but the humans sent not only an endless tide of warriors and soldiers, but a near infinite quantity of ammunition. Atomics and nuclear munitions, long since outlawed by the Council. Human warship fleets were casually flinging them at starships and planets as though it were candy. Then the Shikandi petitioned the Council. The Osarian conglomerate answered the call to arms. One small victory of them capturing a human colony world, followed by the humans responding with a fleet 50 times the galactic standard, and not only taking the planet back, but forcing the Osarians to lose 6 more of their own planets in tandem, 3 of which were just bombed into nuclear dust in retaliation for what humans called a war crime. Such a silly notion, but nobody could really do much about telling them this when the Polarinis entered the war and attacked the fleet that wiped out the Osarian navy. They didn't last long either. "So, that system of yours still working?" the Reaper asked. "Oh yeah, that's kinda why I'm so happy. I get to show these idiots what killing unarmed civilians really amounts to," the human said with a sadistic smirk. Oh, for crying out loud, they did that? Did you idiots really kill unarmed civilians in front of humans? The Reaper asked, directing his ire towards the Polarinus delegation. "Oh yeah, they did. Stupid bastards captured a colony world and sent a message," the human replied, still smirking. The Reaper groaned in annoyance and held his skinless skull in his hands. "Oh Christ, how stupid can you be?" Apparently so stupid they don't even bother to search their prisoners. But let's save that for later. So let me ask, how's your overtime been these last few months, huh? Bet the workload is killing you. Ha! The human joked. The human joked about death. With the death god. The human laughed half-heartedly, and the Reaper along with him let out a sarcastic, half-hearted chuckle. Why did our father create humans anyway? I wonder about it. Probably just to troll the universe. He got bored looking at all the stuff and he thought, you know what? This finely tuned machine here that I built? Here, have some humans. And started yeeting us at the universe like a drunk baboon throwing wrenches into a giant clock, the human said with a bigger laugh. He was probably high that day. Adam and Eve were nice to know back in the day, the Reaper replied, leaning on his scythe. I bet they were. Probably because they had nothing to fear from you. We don't either these days, but hell, who cares, right? The human said, again with a laugh. So, elephant in room time, huh? Nice casual chat, but my hands are tired. Fair. So, tell me what you plan to do this time. Is it going to be another Arakandi war? The Reaper asked. One delegate whispered. Who are the Arakandi? And Death replied, turning his head to face the noise. They are the first alien life form that engaged humans. Well, they were. Humanity tried to bring them to the friendship circle. They were the first among your galaxy to refuse humanity's hand of friendship. They now rest in the halls of Daedalus for eternity, cursing their every breath. Humans wiped them out. All of them. They had it coming. Much like yourselves. The Reaper responded with a bony smirk. Yeah, Darwin was an asshole, but he did have some good points. Poor tactics followed by the usual eating children to send a message bullshit, along with the whole holier-than-thou you can't possibly beat us shtick, shortly before nuclear Armageddoning their planets. To be honest, Mr. Grimm, we were expecting so much more of you from our first encounter. It was a mere trifle compared to when we were first leaving the cradle. Those days were fun, the human said. Oh yes, those days. Fun. Crazy apes! Then you made the resurgence system, and all my business with you creatures practically vanished, Reaper replied with an angry scowl. Yeah, must have hurt, huh? Swimming in souls and bodies, then suddenly it all stops when we invent the respawn from video games. God, that was fun! No limits, no cause, no danger. To face the universe with no care and no consideration. It came in quite handy with that insectoid hive shit. How many times have I been killed now? I can't remember, the human said. 254. The Reaper replied with anger in his tone. Oh ho, so we've been counting. Of course I have been counting. When you are denied something you are owed, you start counting it, the Reaper said with an angry wave of his bony hand. Oh, stop being such a bitch, the human yelled in such a way that even the Reaper himself flinched. Your stupid ass still gets your pound of flesh? Failed surgeries, childhood leukemia, cancer, congenital diseases, industrial accidents. You still get what you're owed 100 times over when we get just that close to finding a cure for something, and then suddenly the lab explodes. Then we lose more of our family members. Your ass is just salty. You can't take more than you already do. Take what you get, bitch! The human yelled again, taking everyone around him off guard. You still don't understand the natural order. And I still don't give a fuck about the natural order, you idiot. That's why, unlike these idiots, I can in fact ignore you, the human replied angrily. You realize with this respawn thing you are doomed to the same fate as the Greys, right? The idiots who outbred themselves into extinction with genetic modification to attain perfection? What has that got to do anything with anything? We are just living a bit longer and facing things a bit farther. We don't want perfection, we just want to live. We aren't the Greys and we aren't that stupid, the human said. Perhaps I need to look at this system of yours a bit closer. I seem to have some wires crossed. No shit, Sherlock, the human replied with a shrug. But anyway, you have other things to care about right now. Darwin's about to poke his head in and say, "Hi, dumbass!" So, I better get to it then, the human said. Oh dear, what is it now, HM? Some kind of bioweapon or plague you brought with you? And why Darwin specifically? The Reaper asked. Well, firstly, these people are so stupid they don't search their prisoners for hidden items. Secondly, they don't know anything about microfusion bombs. Thirdly, they have no concept of the dead man's switch, the human said, smiling all the while. Oh, well, that explains that then, doesn't it? The Reaper said and shrugged, readying his scythe. Oh, don't be so mad. You're still in business, aren't you? The human laughed at him. I will get you all one of these days. One of these days. I am nothing if not patient. You know that. The Reaper replied with a scowl. Oh, we know. But anyway, you need to get ready to do some overtime. You know how this goes. These guys are about to have a very bad day, the human said, twitching his clenched hands. Very bad millennium, more like. I miss the days when mankind was ignorant of the world. I haven't been this bored since before you lot invented sanitation. Those were the days. You had 3 world wars, 1 nuclear apocalypse and the Martian resurgence movement to keep you occupied. So don't give me that. Besides, you have more to worry about right now, the human said. It was only now I noticed the human was brandishing some kit of buttons in his hands. I traced the buttons, though the footage wasn't of exceptional quality. I noticed wires leading down into his jacket. A strong sense of foreboding and dread suddenly overcame me as I figured out what a dead man's switch was. Pilot! Get us out of the system! I yelled, and the crew desperately scrambled to get our ship underway. Oh dear. Oh well. Back to work, I guess, the Reaper said as he gazed on the people in the room. Yeah, gonna be a busy few weeks for you. But hey, don't let the grind kill you! Ha! Get it? I made a funny. The Reaper leaned in and closed the gap between them, breathing right in the human's face. Soon, he said, stern and deep, glaring at the human attempting to stare him down. Over my dead body, the human coldly replied in return with an all-too-satisfied smirk. Well, good to see you again one way or another, old buddy. See you never, the human said. The Reaper took a deep, sorrowful breath and readied his scythe as his image slowly faded away. Well, back to work, I suppose. Pray to your gods. I shall see you all soon. The Reaper's image disappeared. The human dropped to the floor, and before anyone could secure him, his grip on the buttons was released. The bright light of 1,000 suns suddenly took over the system as a massive explosion erupted. The shockwave from the detonation's energy release vaporizing the entire station and shattering several ships near it. The shockwave blasted through the void and tore through ships of immense size. We barely escaped the shockwave, but were hit by debris. We very carefully limped back home as I hastily scribbled a notice of unconditional surrender to the Terran Union. Death's children were upon us. The end times had finally come, and its emissary just wiped out the Galactic Council. My crew spent the entire journey home praying to whatever gods they believed in for answers. We got only laughter in response.